Live!
And we're live.
That was weak.
We'll find out. We'll find. I felt like we needed to come in with a little bit of a softer tone
No.
and
Chelsea
have
made
more
me sad
pauses.
and riled up and sad, and I'm prepared for beer.
Yeah, no, sad and angry. I think
Sad and
everybody
angry.
is equally pissed off, but like enthused about data.
Why are there two of me? Hold on, there are two of me.
Oh, great. Oh,
Okay,
perfect.
all right. Okay. All
For
right,
any
we're good.
for anybody watching this hot mess, the the first 20 minutes of the actual SPSM show was us trying to figure out what the fuck we were actually doing.
Yeah, we got skills.
So that was fun. Yeah. Well, you can't actually see because there's 3 people watching this. I'm sorry.
How can you see that? Where can you see this?
I'm in charge of everything. I don't know.
I like that you're in charge. I'm glad we have 3 people. Where the fuck is everybody? Hey!
Nope. Now we have 2. I pissed somebody off by
We
putting
lost
them out.
We did.
Well, anyway.
It's fine.
What are you angry about? What did Chelsea?
Ooh, I love her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm angry. I'm angry to hear that suicide is the -- leading cause of death in jails and prison systems. I don't know why I was surprised by that.
Because we've never heard it before.
No, but
like no one's said those words.
it's true. I have intimate knowledge of how terrible those systems can be, but somehow it was still surprising. Yeah.
Right. And knowing that, I mean, so there's been a couple of high profile ones, even, and then it goes away. Right.
Wait, Dr. Singer says he cannot see you. He cannot see your beautiful face. Oh, that makes sense because I can't see you in the little box, but I can see you. I don't know. Here in the big box.
Well, that's fun.
Super fun.
I'll just assume it's
Jonathan, he looks very beautiful. Oh, you're presenting to everyone.
That's not what I want.
You are no longer presenting. Oh, man. Technical difficulties every time. Working on it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Working on it.
Anyway.
Oh, well, now you're definitely gone. Did you leave? Am I here alone? I can't host a show by myself, guys. Okay, he's back.
Can you actually see my face though?
I can see you, but not down at the bottom. It would be great if we had some input from the Dr. Singer or somebody who's watching. Anyway, let's keep talking, and maybe we will.
Yeah. We'll figure it out on the.
Yeah.
I'm live.
Always fun.
Live. That was big.
That was really big. Chelsea makes me feel better about being a passionate, yelly person.
Right? Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get in trouble for being passionate and yelly. If you're a lady.
No. That's not. Well, only when you get out of your place. You know.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it depends on your audience, and this audience is fucking crying for yelling. So yesterday, I was at a strategic planning meeting for our local coalition, and at some point I found myself just yelling. Because of very similar things to what Chelsea was talking about, one of our, and I won't say who, but one of our local large state universities has an issue with data collection and addressing suicide on their campus.
Right.
And we've tried to work with them several different times, and we've received the same, we don't have a problem here. Which is nice, especially when it's clearly not true. Or they're saying things like, oh, we only have, 25 people being seen at the local mental health center. So it's a low enough number that it's okay.
Yeah.
We don't need to do more than that.
No.
Right?
Why would you need to do more than that?
So that, I found myself yelling, and the fact that they don't collect any data on campus suicides. They don't pay attention to that. They don't even pay attention to how many students actually die. How many of their students? When we asked them a couple years ago how they actually track this, they say, "Oh, well, we keep an eye on local emergency departments and we look out for things in the news." And I'm like, "What the shit is that?"
No, I have legitimately been yelling about campuses and not collecting that data for quite a while, and not releasing that data, because not collecting it is one thing, but then not sharing it with your community, not addressing it with your community is a much bigger problem. And it's all, the foundation is in the data, data collection or lack thereof.
You can't know where to do anything. You can't know where to look. You can't know where to start your programming. You can't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that I'm entirely convinced that they would do anything if they had that data anyway, but whatever.
Yeah, there's that. And then they'll blame it on, oh, well, the parents don't want anyone to know about that. I've seen that pretty regularly from a university that we've spent the whole evening not naming things. A really, really big, important, prestigious university. I have a friend who works there, and it's just infuriating.
Is it East Dartmouth?
What? Am I supposed to know what that means?
No.
Okay.
It's the highest level of
Pour a beer while we.
Yeah.
There you go. Look, Uncle Jacob for us.
Look at that thing. Has a big A on it. Is that A for asshole? Yes. There we go.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah. So no, the other thing about campus data collection, right, or even communication. So this is one of the things that we didn't. I mean, I didn't really hear them talk about outside of the coroners and medical examiners, but this idea that communication has changed. Official documents are filled out in a certain way or revised in a certain way to not put pressure on people or to alleviate the possibility of prejudice and discrimination in a community, especially if it's a small community. That's all very that's pretty status quo. I mean, we've known about that for an incredibly long amount of time. The thing that frustrates me with one of our campuses, and I've heard this as being a scenario in other places, is that students who are in potential, like if they're in residence halls where they're being watched by employees of the university, if they attempt in a residence hall, they are tapped with a disciplinary ruling, or they have to attend a disciplinary hearing, where they are then made to either take like the same classes that someone with an problematic alcohol issue has, right? So they're being actively punished for doing something like this. The other side of that is that there's the law, that the privacy issue, that where if anything happens to you, that you have to have special permission to actually communicate with your parents. So sometimes this information isn't even released to the parents.
Yeah.
They don't even know.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was in college, similar. I was forced to go. My RA found out that I was cutting myself on campus, and I was via my live journal. And then I was forced to go see people, and with the implied threat of punishment. But of course, I went, and then I realized no one's going to follow up on this. No one actually cares. So there's another instance in which we're not collecting data. We're threatening somebody. We're scaring them. And then what happens next?
So they didn't even, there was no follow-up. They didn't know that you went or that you didn't go.
No follow-up.
Amazing.
I went and I was like, this is bullshit, and I left, and that was that.
Amazing.
And I was still in a very, very bad place.
It's fine though, because you got away scot-free.
On one hand, yes, God, that's beautiful. On one hand, yeah, I got away, but did I get the help I needed at one of the most difficult times of my life?
Right.
No.
And like you said, did anyone care?
Oh, no one cared as long as their asses were covered.
Yep. The liability aspect was taken care of at that point in their minds.
Right.
But that's the frustrating part. What if you had gone and actually died?
Right.
I mean, that shit would have come back on them tenfold.
Yeah. And they would have said, well, we did what we were supposed to do.
She was troubled.
She was troubled. I don't know. It looks like maybe we're still having an issue with your video.
Can they hear me, though?
I believe they can hear you. I wonder if I can pull you up on Safari. Keep talking for a second, and I'll pull you up on Safari and see if I can look at you.
Yeah. So one of the other things that Bart brought this one up in the sense that data collection takes forever. And it's not just the collection aspect, which that has its own pitfalls and barriers, obviously, but then the reporting aspect. Why does it take, at a minimum, 18 months to report this? Is it because they have one guy in a basement next to all the servers, like killing the rats and also like combining all this data? I assume that's what it has happening? To be.
Yeah, it must be. No, I cannot see you. I look like I'm just doing this all by myself.
All right, but can you hear me?
Well, I could hear you here, but it seems like everybody can hear you based on the Twitter.
Well, I don't know what I feel like if I ended
some kind of show.
I feel like if I end the feed, like if I back out, then
do not screw it up.
Just break. Yeah.
Don't do it. Okay, Carl says we can hear you. So we can hear you, but we can only see me. And I am looking a wreck. I wish we could see you.
I'm sorry, people. We're new around these parts.
We are new. Maybe one day Tony Wood and the Doc Foreman, somebody can give us a tutorial on how to do this properly. Most of SPSM Unpacked happens to be us unpacking technical difficulties.
Yes. Well, so the shitty part is, I'm gonna try to do this because it sounds like this might work.
Please don't.
I might complicate things more.
Oh God.
Has anything happened?
You joined the video call. Ooh, let me open this up in Safari.
Can you guys all see me now?
Hold, please. Oh, wait. Say a thing.
Say a thing.
Now I see 2 boxes with you in them. Whatever. I don't know. Let's see. You're here. You're here. I don't know, bro.
I don't know either. I feel like 2 people, 2 of me are always worse than 1.
Carl says I should move my mouth when you're talking.
Wait, but can they see me now? Because if not, then it's...
I was able to see you a second ago. So I feel like they should be able to see your beautiful face. And all those stringy things back there. Go on. Say important words.
No, I was just bitching about how long it takes, to get data.
Well, it's amazing. They told us, after Robin Williams died, it's going to take 3 years for us to get a sense of what the contagion factor is like.
Mm-hmm.
And how how is that useful for us to make a plan for the next time this happens? Because it's not going to be the last time, obviously.
Right.
You know, all of the organizations, and I've talked about this before with Doc Horton, there should be a disaster plan in place for when a public figure dies, or you know, when a figure in your community dies on a smaller scale, and none of us have that in place. But you need the data to do that. You need to know what things could potentially look like, so you can project the future. I don't know. I'm constantly feeling frustrated at how far behind we are constantly on everything.
Right.
In this field specifically.
Yeah, I mean, think about everything from messaging to data collection. The messaging takes fucking forever to change.
It's true. I mean, we can't even agree within the field that the word commit is like a bad plan.
Right.
Or, you know, maybe saying things like people who die by suicide were never normal, could never be normal. Not still harping on that at all.
Well, no, it's not a normal versus abnormal.
Right.
It's not normal.
What? Well, it's kind of normal that it happens at this juncture.
No, yeah.
I mean, I hate to say that, but it's true, is it not? If somebody's dying every, 12 minutes or so, that's more regular than, what, the bladder emptying? A motor vehicle accident, a murder.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Not a rape, though.
Great.
Well,
haven't reached that level.
Goody.
Yeah.
We're just keeping it real at beat here this evening.
we turned down Game of Thrones lane and got a little rapey.
Yep, well, Rape of Thrones. I don't know.
Oh.
Got a little rapey.
Yeah.
Watch Game of Thrones.
So.
Yes.
No, I wanted to point out another thing that Chelsea had said, and it was about it was in the context of that there's no one way to use the data that we're collecting. There's no one way to get the data that we're collecting. And she made an analogy with messaging and like programming and training and those kinds of things. And I thought that was a really good point. You know, and even in the differentiation between populations and systems level collection, that we can pinpoint the stuff that's going to be able to allow us to do things and ignore the noise. Ignore things that aren't helpful.
Yeah.
But I don't know where that leads us.
I don't know where that leads us either. In my mind, well, you have that problem of not one consistent way to do it, but then you also have the problem of communication. So once you do have the data, once you have figured that all out, wherever you are, you need somebody to relay that information to your community. So you need the data collected in a way that makes sense, and then you need someone to be like, hey, humans, in English, this is what this means, and this is why we should care. Again, something the suicide prevention field could use so much help with. But yeah, how do you coordinate that? The violent death reporting systems, I mean, that should be something that is in every state, and alas, it's not. And of course, we have the problem of how we, what are my words? How, we decide what the cause of death is. Like she was talking about, there are insurance issues, there are shame issues, there are people who maybe don't know the warning signs and therefore can't decide that this person did die by their own hand or something. There are just so many issues at every level that it feels futile and impossible on some days. This day might be one of them.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. So, like, do we start at systems?
Right.
While we're doing that, do we ignore the rest of it? We can't, because we can't ignore that much data and that much information.
Right.
So if we start way up here and collect everything, then we lose the minuteness of the information down here.
Right. And I mean, you know, it's fine. It's not a problem. You're not going to know for 3 years anyway. So just, you know, wait it out.
It's fine.
Just wait it out. It's fine. People are going to die. It's cool. We didn't need them.
Did you happen to read the article about Maddie?
Yes.
Oh, that's a smile.
Yes, I did. What did you want to talk about?
No, I
read it at 5 a.m.
Concept reminded me of how she had talked about that the George Washington Bridge isn't going to get the renovation until like 2024. Yes. And like it's just cool that like we let 18 people die a year until then.
Yeah, that's basically exactly what the article said. I mean, you know, and
like there's no solution for that.
Yeah, I mean, just getting the funding, and then you've got to deal with all the bureaucratic bullshit and the time it takes to do it, and, you know, the design, because obviously the design of the prevention system must be beautiful. Otherwise, you're fucking up a perfectly good bridge on which people can kill themselves.
And you don't want it to act as a sail.
From which? Yes, you don't want it to act as a sail. I read that and I was like, okay, these are things that would never even occur to me. Thank God I'm not an architect or whatever you have to be to build a bridge. But
I'm sure there are some really great civil engineers out there who could wrap this up in a week. Just like
maybe. I don't know.
Hey, I'm gonna try something really quick, and then I'm gonna get back on because I can't deal with this 2-video thing. I'm gonna try to hang up on the.
You don't want to see 2 of you? You're so cute though. You're muted.
Yeah. Okay. Can you see? Can people still see me?
I can see you. I don't know what these bitches are doing.
Because I just saw Zinger bitch about seeing 2 of me, which, to be fair, is terrible, and I agree with him that no one wants to see 2 of me.
It is not terrible. You are a sexy beast. You are a sex beast, as we have learned. I'm not opening this shit again in Safari, bro. Whatever. You're there. You're great.
No, you're fine. It's fine. Yeah. Well, people deal with it. They can wait it out.
There are none of you, then there are 2 of you. I don't know.
Yeah. So the and we're kind of I'm moving people off topic, I think, but like with the Maddie Gould article, and if people aren't familiar with this, do you remember what?
It was the New York Times.
Yeah.
Let me find it, and maybe I will tweet out a link.
And it is called "A Suicidologist: New Challenge: The George Washington Bridge," and it's a little bit of a it's a history of Maddie Gould's work in the field of suicidology, which is really interesting. And if anybody, if you ever get a chance to meet her, please say hi and like introduce yourself. She is a wonderful person and very outgoing.
I would love to meet her. I don't think I've met her.
Really?
I feel like I would know if I had met Maddie Gould.
Yeah. No, yeah. Yeah, you probably would. Really? Are you sure?
Hopefully.
No, it was
but
just.
Sometimes I'm a dumbass, so you never know.
I was just surprised. I feel like you know everybody.
Well, I did learn on Spsm chat that I know all the things. Unfortunately, I do not know all the things and or all the people.
You're like 98% of the things.
Okay, let's move on. About that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that article, I feel like I should read it again because it was 5 a.m. and I was tired and, you know, in that place where I'm wearing myself out and just reading lots of stuff to try and make my eyeballs close.
It's just, and I think a lot of this really can be kind of lumped together at some point when we talk about how slow things move. God, things move so slowly, and people are like astounded that you can tweet about suicide prevention. It's like, yeah, that's like 4 years old. That's like Twitter has been around for a decade. Chill out, people. Get with the times. But that's just one example. So like, but yeah, I mean, like the advocacy that it takes to get things changed. I mean, I don't think this is an isolated thing where it's just suicide prevention that deals with this. I'm sure that a lot of different prevention fields deal with this lag, both in getting things done and getting money and all of that. But when you're dealing with something that's in the top 10 causes of death nationally, and in most places it's the second leading cause of death for youngsters,
the babies.
You start thinking about like maybe there's something that we can prioritize here.
Well, we start thinking about it. By the way, you are invisible again, so you should do the thingy again. Just do it. You're very pretty. Everybody wants to look at you. What was I thinking about? It's
youngsters.
It's just it's infuriating because it feels so obvious to us, but because it's something we're fearful of, or I mean, I have a personal opinion that we're fearful of it, but we're thinking about it. We're thinking about it regularly. We joke about it on TV all the time. It's in the movies. It's always there in some way. I swear to God. Suicide is in every storyline, in everything I see, everywhere I go. But there's something holding us back. We don't know how to meaningfully express anything about suicide. So how do we get people to care about it, regardless of where it lies on the hierarchy of causes of death? I think that's one of our key problems. I think once we figure out how to change that the problem of funding might be a little less. The problem of this bureaucracy of getting fucking nets built under bridges will be less of a problem. To me, it is about how do you change the cultural perception. And again, that's a huge problem. How do you even begin?
Cats.
Cats. Yes, cat names. SPSM. Cats of SPSM.
Yeah, Shia let that drop.
No, she didn't. She?
Get back on that.
We need to yell at her. We need cats of SPSM, clearly. Those cats can build nets and hang from them.
Hang in there.
I didn't even go there intentionally.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That, like, it's the culture, and that's much more overwhelming. Ugh.
It is, but the thing we always say is nobody talks about it, and that is not true. Maybe on a personal level we don't talk about it, but we are inundated with input about suicide everywhere we go. Or I am, and I know I'm biased in a lot of ways, but I don't expect. I was having this conversation with my wife earlier today because I want to do a study about this. I don't expect to see a suicide joke when I turn on Mindy Kaling's stupid show, or Maurice Sendak. There's a documentary about Maurice Sendak. He talks about wanting to kill himself, and you're just like, whoa, I wanted to know about the dude who wrote Where the Wild Things Are. What? It shows up everywhere. And that it's not that we're being silent about it. It's something else.
Mm-hmm.
It is something else. And I think until we figure out what that is, we're going to continue to have these problems. And we'll probably continue to have these problems afterwards, too. Because prison industrial complex, obviously.
Yeah, but it's solved now.
Problem solved. Everybody's making panties. I don't know.
If we could somehow get prisoners to open personalized Etsy accounts, it could fund the entire system.
Hey, well, on TV, they sell dirty undies. Maybe they do it on Etsy. Do you not watch Orange is the New Black? What's wrong with you? Okay, I can't be here with you anymore. That's right. Get the fuck out. I want you to do that all the time.
What the hell were we talking about?
I was yammering about something inane, inevitably.
Yeah.
Prison industrial complex, foundational issues, data.
Culture, yeah. And seeing it everywhere, right? And so I'm wondering if a part of it, the issue in our culture is not just the discrimination and the prejudice that we put up, but maybe because it is so tied to the fabric of at least our society, and that it is, and everything we see, most people have been directly affected. It's just hovering here. And so and because it is such an unpleasant thing, culturally we have to kind of pack it under a bunch of other shit to just get through the day. So when somebody brings it up, it's like, move.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you know, how often do you really want to talk about something that has either traumatized you or someone around you, or traumatized you in some way, affected you in some way? You know, most of my summer has been spent feeling this grief of a suicide loss pretty intensely. But for me, and obviously I'm not your average bear, for me, that's made me talk about it more and think about it more. And I already thought about it a lot. It kind of renewed my my sense of purpose. Whereas last summer, last summer I was affected by another suicide, not of someone that I knew. I think you know about this. I don't even know, a post-bystander to someone's suicide.
Right.
And I remember coming out of that experience feeling like everything we do is futile and it's not worth it. And we're never going to change anything. So two really different emotional experiences.
Did you get through that?
I did. I lived through this and that also. This, that, and the other thing. I lived through them.
But what I'm saying is, like, you still have that, like, subtext of futility?
Now, no.
Okay.
You know, that comes and goes. There's that futile feeling, and I think we probably all feel that. I'm sure you feel that. You know, you're affected in your community pretty often, and what can you do? You hear these awful stories, and it's just how many obstacles are standing in the way of you getting to this ultimate goal. And I'm not even necessarily talking about zero suicide. I'm talking about the community around us, you know, our local community. How do we slow it down? How do we stop it? You know, I live in a city now. The Penn suicide cluster was a huge deal a year or two ago, and I think this community is probably still reeling from that in a lot of ways. And what do? There are days that you feel futile. Today I do not feel futile.
Yeah, I mean, I think because we just experienced a really terrible suicide in our community, and affected people not just here but across the country and across the world. Very well-known person. And he specialized in talking about positivity and hope and all of these things that are supposed to be used as protective factors, or they're supposed to combat feelings of suicide or depression. And so we all kind of had this initial reaction of like, what the fuck are we doing this for? Mm-hmm. Like if he couldn't do it, right? But then it got to a point where we kind of saw like, okay, but if we weren't doing what we're doing now, if we don't collect any data, if we don't do any trainings, it's a lot fucking worse.
It's true. It's true.
Not, yeah.
No, I feel like I'm about to talk smack, and I'm trying to find a way around that. Oh, you look excited. It's a shame no one can fucking see you.
No, I'm on 2 cameras. It's fine.
Well, maybe they can see 2 of you. I don't know. I think that some of the ways that we try to call attention to this topic are a little strange. That's where I'm going to leave that. I think data collection is hugely important, and I think that because we lack the middleman and we lack an interpreter for this information, that a lot of people kind of look at it and they do one of these and then they walk away. If there was some way to take that and show people like, hey, you can do this too. You can collect this data, your stories, our data, your social media information, ourdatahelps.org is data and can influence how we look at the topic of suicide, how we potentially reduce the suicide rate. It's going back to the same thing that I was saying with the media. There's got to be some way to bring the masses in, and there has to be, I think it has to do with communication or interpretation or something. I don't know that, again, that a lot of the ways that we do it, a lot of the big organizations and the events that they run, it's hard for me to see the value in that other than creating community. But community is not the only element here, because community, in a lot of cases like these events, the community is there for a day, and then the community disperses and goes on about their lives. Meanwhile, there are however many thousands of us maybe who focus on this every day. We need more of us to be collecting the data, to be telling our stories publicly, to be pushing this idea out there that suicide is kind of normal, and that's really shitty, and so let's pay attention to it, and let's find a way to stop it.
Right.
Your turn.
Now.
I feel like tomorrow. I've been talking forever.
No, but that's some of these things that groups and people do are great for a very specific reason, whether it's community for a day, or whether it's fundraising or programming or training, like the good stuff.
Right. There has to be a step 2.
Right, and something needs to happen.
Yeah.
Today.
Right.
Tomorrow. Right, because every day that we let go by where we're not actually figuring out the problem, where we're not taking the data that's in our everyday lives, that is another day that X number of people die.
112.7.
Yeah.
Not sure what that point
had that right
means. You know, numbers, they float around here. A few other things. Yeah, programming, these events, this community for a day. You know, I am programming. I go to events and universities and I do the thing and I say the words with the intention of hopefully inspiring people to go do more, to take step 2 and be the change, you want to see in the world. Like, go for it, do it.
You know what data is impossible to collect, but would be fucking amazing.
Go.
If we could somehow get a number for it. The number of people who go to events like your talks,
Mm-hmm.
or a walk, or whatever, who are struggling and don't end up killing themselves.
Oh man, that is impossible.
Right? But it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Invisible data.
Visible data, because discrimination, likely in a lot of cases. I've heard stories of people being spit on at events for being lived experience types.
What the fuck?
True story. You know, I've had people come to my talks and wait until the room is empty, and then tell me, hey, I tried to kill myself 3 weeks ago, and I feel like a weak piece of shit, and I don't even know why I'm talking to you. We have nothing in common, but here I am. You know, how many people like that person are out there who don't actually come and say, I feel like a weak piece of shit, but here I am. So yeah, God, that would be great. How many people do go on to live? I mean, we know what 90% of people who have attempted go on to continue to live their lives. But what does that mean?
Right. I think this is another issue that we have in this field, because that 90% reminded me of it.
Go.
We also have the 90%, what is it, 90% of people who die by suicide have a mental health issue or diagnosed mental illness, right?
Diagnosable. So that's a pile of garbage.
But we have a few of those.
Right.
We have a few of these numbers that are just kind of like floating around where we're like, oh, I need this right now.
Right.
To prove a point.
Yes.
But as we can see from some of the discussions
misuse
on
of data.
Yeah, these high level like discussions between amazing people in the field. Mm-hmm. Generally, people don't know where these numbers come from.
There's that.
And when we do figure it out, it's like from a study done in Poland in 1963.
Right.
Or whatever.
So, yeah, for example, Edwin Schneidman's magical 6 people are intimately affected by every suicide. Where the fuck, bro? No.
And where did that? You know what the story is behind that?
I don't. Do you?
I've heard bits and pieces, but from what I've heard, it came from the number that they used for large air travel disasters. The way that they figured out how to disperse payments to family members.
Okay, I did not know this. What?
And so I guess he just kind of translated that number over. There's probably way more complex.
Here's my data. That makes 0% sense. But we have Dr. Julie Searle working on that right now, right? Mm-hmm. So I think at this point, her number is, it was around 115 people are affected by every suicide in some way. And she's got this beautiful graph that has concentric circles of the days that people are affected. She's working on that. But, yeah, Schneidman came up with that number, I think the 70s? So for 45 years or so, we've been using this arbitrary number. That's the thing that I take issue with, is statistics for the sake of, I don't know what, validation? Personal validation or something. Right. If a statistic doesn't have any meaning for the people that we're throwing it at, then why is it there? Why does it exist?
The research happens in this field. We know that. But it's few and far between that it's not self-referential. And so we start getting into a
design
cyclical thing. Right. Yeah. A tautology that we can't get out of.
Right. And that also goes back to, how do we bring more people in?
Right.
It's like, you know, with lived experience, you have Kevin Hines and me, and we're the people that have stories, apparently, that are recognized or whatever. I'm boring. Kevin's going to get boring. We need more people. We need more people doing whatever. I have dogs. I don't know. Who cares? But, like, there needs to be more of us.
So boring.
There need to be more of us. You know, like, live through this. There are 100 and however many stories. They're so completely different. Can you imagine if all of those people were out there doing programming? You know, if they could, that would be huge. And so, again, if you've got people collecting data, we need more of them. We need to be bringing more of them in. But we also have the problem in this field of people being in it because they're affected by it, and not simply because they're interested in it. We had a cameo, a Fell cameo. Hello.
Saw her.
Saw her running around hiding, covered in paint. I lost my train of thought. Your turn.
But yeah, I mean, so we need to have people collecting the data.
Yes.
And then, like Chelsea said, we need to do something with it. And what I would love to see is researchers taking that data and doing something with it that's new.
Right.
Trying to find, and there are plenty of them out there. There are really, really great researchers that are doing a lot of really great work.
It's true. It's true.
But not just to find these numbers, right, that we can pick out of the air and say 90% of penguins don't kill themselves because they're not humans. Or whatever the fuck.
I'm looking at the Twitter feed.
Is it pretty good? I bet
Andy
it's amazing.
Brown. 1, 2, Chris's kneel before you. That's what I said now. Chris's who adore you. Just go ahead, Dese'Rae Stage.
Excellent.
And Chelsea Booth is watching, so now we're going to be intimidated and run away.
Have to.
Tapestry of experiences, she says.
I just have
yes,
to get at
back up. It's like everyone's going to leave now. Wait, I can't get my shoulder up.
Or we should find how to like stack our heads like on top of each other, like Scooby-Doo style.
A+.
Yeah.
Suicide prevention totem.
But yeah, no, I want to see researchers take this data, turn it into something that's fucking useful. Like the amazing way that Chelsea was like, hey, you're asking for this information. Here's a 200-page toolkit.
I cannot. What?
That needs to happen, though.
How does she exist? How do you exist? That does need to happen. That does need to happen. And we need to we need a little shaking, you know, just like a firm shaking. The old white men in the field, lots of them.
Old.
But they're the ones holding the rest of us down in a lot of ways, you know. You've seen at the conferences, the moment somebody has something different to say, they're like, oh, well, we don't like that.
No, we need more people like Chelsea who are like, get off your fucking asses and do something.
Right, and she even talked about leaving academia. Like, why should someone like that be forced out of academia? That's fucked up.
Yeah. We need to provide, and we are. We need to be providing and continue to provide voices for everybody who wants to get involved and wants to do something.
It's true. Hold 1 second. What is the count? Fell has killed 5 flies in our living room.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. It is very hot. 6. It's awful here. 6. 6. The number of people intimately affected by each suicide. Also, the number of flies she just killed. Look at that.
And 2 less than the people, or 2 more than the people watching. So.
Wow. Who are they? Chelsea Booth and who else? Oh my God, she's just collecting carcasses. I can't.
It's amazing. So, I don't know. What else where are we at? You want to do final thoughts? Because we got 7 minutes left.
Bitch, we have gone for more than an hour. Do we have more than 7 minutes of stuff to say? I still have half a beer.
Can you tell us about your beer, actually?
You want me to tell you about my beer, Chris? This beer prevents suicide. This is Avery's Uncle Jacob's Stout. I think it's an Imperial Stout. It's like 12% or something. It's delicious. It's a bourbon barrel stout. And it's better than the Goose Island Bourbon County. But this 12-ounce bottle usually costs $19.
Holy shit.
Yes, holy shit. And I went in the beer store the other day, and it had gone down to $12, and I said, holy shit. That's what I said. $1 an ounce, I'll take it. And I wasn't going to say anything to the guy at the counter, and then I was like, what happened? Like, I haven't bought beer in months because $19 for a 12-ounce bottle of beer is not insane, but let's say wild. It's wild. He didn't know. He said sometimes the owner is just trying to make room. So, like, I need to go back and stock up because I was the reason this beer is even in that store at this point. I guess I'm not buying enough of it, so maybe he is trying to make room because $19 a bottle is inappropriate. Anyway, that's my beer.
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, but you need to, maybe I'll remember. Oh, I'm probably not going to check it back. I was like, maybe I'll remember to bring you a bottle of it, because clearly you need to put it in your mouth. Put it in your mouth.
You know what we should do? At the end of every Spsm, or at the Unpacked show, we should just have a little musical number.
A little musical number where someone yells about putting it in your mouth.
Yeah.
And or butt sex.
Sure.
Yeah, why not?
Amelia will be on to that, I'm sure.
Amelia would be about it. We love her. What else? What's going on? What's happening?
Data, man. Data.
Twitter.
Let's finish this data thing. What is the solution?
Oh, wait. Chelsea Booth is saying if I lived in Kansas City, I could have Boulevard beer fresh. Look.
So can I.
I'm sick of her shit. I'm sick of your shit, Chelsea Booth.
You can have all you want.
They're gonna take me to there.
I'll just ship it to you.
Yeah, take me there. I don't know. What are your final thoughts?
I don't know. Because
I don't know that I have final thoughts. I feel like I have thoughts that are going to last for weeks and at least until 5 a.m.
Yeah, I don't know if sleep is going to happen because all I'm going to see when I close my eyes is Chelsea just yelling at me. Why am I wasting time sleeping when I could be doing something?
Chelsea Booth does not sleep. She's like fucking Chuck Norris, okay? Except less Republican, I think. Maybe she'll confirm on Twitter. No, that was great. I love that she got loud. Because people need to get loud. People need, especially women, people need to be able to be loud because there's a reason for our loudness. In suicide prevention specifically, I mean.
Right. Anybody that can shock Bart into silence in a deer in headlights look, I can have him on every day.
That was pretty magical.
Yeah.
And Bart didn't talk about his hair for me, but his hair was like, whoosh, and he was like. Was that a good impression?
Yeah, I love Bart.
I do too. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's my thought. Is that like really? So what she was saying at one point was that the collections systems are fucked up. The systems are fucked up. The way that we do things are fucked up. Everything is fucked. We have fucking just stop. We should all just done.
Here are updates from one of the 4 people who is watching us and is tweeting at us profusely.
Okay.
Does that make sense? It's Chelsea. She says that we should go to there and make her stop talking or move there so that we could all wear our bee costumes together. She didn't say that part. I did. We're awesome because we're shouting about suicide prevention and super expensive beer. She says she sleeps 8 to 10 hours a night, which I do not believe. She also says that we should get off our asses and do something. So maybe I feel like we should stand up. We should just stand up. I don't know. And then I'm off my ass. I'm wearing a Lifeline shirt. My boobs are kind of stretching out the real. Okay. All right. I'm gonna get back on my ass. Okay. I don't know.
Yeah. But no. I want to get this out because this is exactly what I think.
Okay. Go.
She was trying to get at. Shit's fucked.
Shit is fucked.
But we can still do things, and we are still doing things. And every time that we push the system a little bit further and disrupt things a little bit more and yell a little bit, we're moving the bar.
It's true.
And I think that's where we're at.
More agitators.
Mm-hmm.
More agitators. We have more. Okay, she said sit down before we hurt ourselves. Luckily, we're sitting.
Oh. Yeah, no, that's good. Thanks for having our health in mind, Chelsea.
Yes. I love that Chelsea is the person watching us. Just had her on the hangout, too.
Yeah.
I feel like your final thought was appropriate. And another cameo from my painter friend. I don't know. I think I've given all of my thoughts. I don't know that I have like one big magical thought that will culminate in people giving any fucks, any extra fucks. Ideally, one day that'll happen. Maybe not tonight.
Yeah. Being. I mean, it always goes back to being real and being yourself and authentic when you're talking about this, and just getting out there and doing it.
You're an inspiration, right? Chris Maxwell.
Don't patronize me.
What did you just yell? I'm gonna shower my body. Oh, she's gonna shower her body.
Oh.
Oh. Good for you. Huh. We all do that one day too. I'm trying to drink this beer.
All right. So, are we? I think we're good.
I guess. Are we good? You're good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine. Bye, Chelsea Booth and the other 3.
No, there's 5 now.
Oh, and the other 4. That's a band name. Chelsea Booth and the other 4. I'll be the booby tassel girl.
Because they're inevitably so much less interesting than her. It's just the other 4.
It's the hair.
Literally.
The hair and the yelling. Okay, this band is going to be a metal band.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be a metal band.
All right, well, thank you, everybody, I guess.
He's like, I'm not having this. I'm done now.
I'm sorry.
Fine. You don't like my ideas. I understand.
No, I love your ideas. It's metal, and it's just...
Go think about the prison industrial complex and be sad some more, please. Goodbye.
No. All right. Thanks, everybody. This has been an Spsm Unpacked that we're so sorry for.
I'm not sorry. We're awesome. Fuck you, Chris Maxwell.
Okay. Okay. Just me. Anyway. Thank you, Des.
Thank you, Chris.
As always. For jumping on. Hanging out.
Chris, I'll always jump on you. Just make it stop. Just make it stop.
Night.